How's it going? Turtle here with another Turtle Cast. How's it going? Today we're going to call this one DP Butters. DP Butters. Let me tell you a story about the history of the town which I dwell in. And I'm not even going to say the name of the town because it's irrelevant. However, I am doing some history, some research, and I'm actually doing like a writing project, I guess you could say, with a typewriter on the history of my town. Okay? But the book I'm going from dates back to like the late 1700s. Of course, it was updated to a more modern one back in the 1980s or something. But it's a really cool book. And what's cool about it, like any history book about a town, you'll find things about the heritage and the streets and different sections of the town that you're studying or whatever. Just like all the stories, how the things got named. Just like, it's really cool if you're into that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, I got to this one part where they're talking about like basically delivering butter, right, on like horseback. And this is a time where a lot of things were delivered on horseback. And can you believe that back in these times it was like 20 cents to send a postcard, like 30 cents. It was like 20 cents to send a postcard to like Cape Cod, right? And it'd be like 30, 40 cents almost. I think it was like 30 cents to send it like to New York, right? A postcard back in the 1800s. Isn't that insane? Like, how much did postage go up since then? Not a whole lot, if you think about it. Like, we still complain like, a letter costs this much when we're living in a day of free email, right? But snail mail is such a bargain if you think about how much work and how much it used to cost back in the days where you could pretty much feed the family plus some for 20 cents a day. You know what I'm saying? You could probably like feed the kids and get a bunch of other things that you need for 20 cents. Maybe even more, but that's how much it would cost to send a postcard. Well, anyways, actually some of these postmasters too would do it pretty much for smiles. That was interesting too. So imagine every piece of mail was probably well thought out, mindfully aware of like a lot of things. You know, you're probably just not willy-nilly sending letters out unless you're like super rich or something, right? Back in those times. So, back to the butter. Now these people that were on horses would go get the butter, and the butter would be wrapped up in hay, not even in ice, right? And a lot of times these people that were traveling with these goods would actually have to stop at merchants, not just for like money. I mean, they were getting money, but because of the fact that they might not have been able to bring back what they went out for and have it still be fresh, if you know what I'm saying. Like, so in other words, some people would, whether it's it was harvest time or whether it was, you know, we're going out on a trip, on an adventure to bring back the goods, right? Like sometimes they would get maybe they got such a bounty or whatever, and the conditions of their horse and wagon, or their conditions of the weather, or even the conditions of maybe the food or perishables, they can't tow it all the way back home. You know, it could be a bunch of glass bottles too, clinking together and gonna smash by the time they get back home. So they might have to, in other words, these riders that were delivering these goods, you could picture them like almost as like postmodern day Mack trucks, right? They got goods, and they actually have to stop at merchants to give them the stuff, because not only they can sell it, but basically if they brought it all the way back home, it might not even still be good enough to sell. Okay, so now I think farmers were driving these particular horse-drawn wagons. We will say that it is for this instance. I could be getting the story a little bit wrong, but who cares, right? It's the point. Now, I want to tell you why. This story is going to tell you why. What's the most important thing when it comes to business and making money? And I know most of you are probably thinking, well, obviously that's got to be self-interest, right? And I mean, that's what people care about most, right? Is themselves. So whatever can you know, ail their problems, cure their whatever, make their job easier, cheaper, more efficient, less stress, less frustration, right? That we can pretty much say that is why people buy stuff, right? Well, I'm saying that you're wrong on one level, and it has to do with the story. So when these farmers went to a merchant with their butter, they had them in little cartons. And a lot of the other guys too, or a lot of the other people that would sell the merchants, the farmers would sell the merchants the butter. They would kind of like leave it there, and then maybe in the next run they would come and collect what they sold and replace the old ones, right? Or replace what's out of stock. Now, this one particular time, this farmer sold the merchant a carton of butter, and it had the initials DP. D as in dog, P as in plan, right? And it was like DP, okay. So when the farmer came back to collect his due, the merchant asked, "Hey, why did this say DP?" And the farmer goes, "Oh, well, that's a funny story. Now, my wife, I think maybe she was having a bad day or something. I don't know what it was, but she really wasn't putting a lot of love in this batch. And I think I would say it was done poorly, or darned poorly, or something like that. So, because it wasn't his best work, the farmer wrote DP on the butter." And the merchant says that instead of selling it for 20 cents of whatever they call it, I think it begins with an F, maybe we'll just say a pound, right? For a pound of butter it was like 20 cents or something, right? But because it said DP on it, people were curious, and the guy, or whoever it was, the merchant, was able to sell the butter for 30 cents a thing, for 30 cents or whatever, a frig of a pound or whatever. And it was all because people were just curious and why it said DP on it. They just thought it was something new. Maybe it was, and for all you know, even though the farmer thought it was done poorly because he didn't want to stamp his name on it, could have been the better. Who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe it was like the cream of the crop, right? The cream of the cream, or whatever. And so the whole point was after that too, the merchants around too were able to start getting more for their butter. Like I think it was like 30 to 50 cents after that. But it was just really funny to see that it's curiosity that really drives the sales. Again, I know you want to think it's self-interest, but I think it's really has more to do with curiosity. Because look at, people were just like, sure, whatever, 20-cent butter. But because it was like, it was new, it was different, it was, for some reason, people were just mystified by DP. You know, maybe it was dairy pure or done properly, or who knows, like there could be maybe a famous person or something like that, or a farm, a whole list of reasons. But there's a conversation going on in the consumer's head back then, and it was just like the conversation was just being mystified by these initials. And I just think that if you fast forward a couple hundred years ahead of that, I think that that's still what drives a lot of sales. Like, are you being curious? Are you using curiosity in your emails and your blog posts? You know, in your VSLs, on your Twitter posts, on your advertisements? Are you using curiosity, or are you just kind of telling everybody how it is? I mean, curiosity can take something that's very boring in your business and make it seem interesting, if you know what I'm saying. So, is there a way that you can use curiosity for your sales message if you're not already? You know, it's, you can kind of use it like almost like a movie trailer too, but it's just like use your mind a little bit, because when sometimes you see a movie trailer and it gives away everything. You're like, why even bother watching the movie? You really want to give, you know what I mean? You want to keep people like, whoa, I wonder what's going to happen next. So curiosity can use a lot of teasing too. Like sometimes they might say like a certain actor or a certain algorithmic theme or something is like in a film or something like that too. So a lot of those are curiosity drivers. And you know what else is a big curiosity driver? Bullets, like bullet points. And there's a lot of people that have been able to do that masterfully. So I want to leave you on that. And I'm gonna, instead of giving you a bunch of examples, like a bunch more, I want you to use your own mind on this too. Just think about it. Use curiosity. You'll be surprised how just kind of like hinting or teasing that something's about to occur can really get people, like, you know, or not just that, but like even having a story where you just don't like give away the ending right away, where it makes them want to like read your next message to see what happens next. So you know, there's all kinds of hooks, there's all kinds of different ways to use curiosity too. Like sometimes people could do it intentionally, sometimes you can fall upon it by accident, but just also pay attention to like what gets you curious too, like what gets you to want to like look around the corner, you know. Like is there any kind of like a fancy like window shopping experience you had, or maybe you got a handwritten letter in the mail, or it was like handwritten addressed, right? Does that stir curiosity? I guess I am going to say a couple of examples, but I'm more like asking you, does it give you curiosity? Sometimes people don't know what they want, so like they want like the mystery of something new and different too. Like a lot of things like grab bags and in like random, like sometimes people like watching and reading things out of random. So that a lot of that has to do with curiosity. Think about different sights and sounds that even get a cat, right? Like a kitten or a cat that gets their attention. Like think about how that psychology works on even like a cat. You know, like you make a noise. Like if I go in the kitchen for my cat, she'll almost make the connection like it's time to eat. So like if you're opening up the cabinet where there's food in it, or you take out her food, or it's like it just seems like that time of day, or if you shake like where she has it treats, or if you have something that's got catnip on, whatever it is, it like it makes them curious. And not even just that for curiosity, but other just like mundane things too, like or outside too, like if you have an indoor cat, right, you'll like little critters and bugs and stuff will get the cat all riled up too, like wanting to know what that is and get it. If you ever see a large crowd somewhere, that usually brings up curiosity, like, ooh, I wonder why everybody's eating there. I wonder why everyone's shopping. Look at that jeweler, was it Pandora, around like Christmas time or the holidays or anything like that. You'll see, I've actually taken a picture. I'll try to dig it up and like post it somewhere too, on like somewhere maybe on the Turtlecast Facebook, or maybe I'll even try to slide it in this on this Turtlecast somewhere. But I've seen the line, extensive line, come out of Pandora before, right? And I ask people, why are you in line? And you know what it is? Curiosity. They'll say, they're just like, I guess Pandora, they would have a certain kind of policy where they want like one or two people. Maybe it had to do with COVID. I don't know if it has to do with COVID or if it was just like the regular policy. They can only have one or two customers in at a time. So just to even view what the girlfriend, wife, soon-to-be wife, or whatever, just for her, it's usually for her, right? Just so she can see what she might want for the holidays, like, you know, so they'll stand in line. And you know what else? Because of status and everything else, it starts becoming a thing to do as a status symbol too. Like, oh, you know, you'll probably see women taking selfies and things like that, talking about because their man or whoever brought them to Pandora, right? And they're getting the whole Pandora experience and having to wait in line. And, you know, they kind of give you like this special treatment, probably sales pitch when you go in the store, one or two people at a time. They probably have something else. So a lot of it has to do with curiosity. I think that's a very nice model. And what else? I think that's all I'm going to give you today. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. I hope that you will think about using curiosity in whatever it is you're doing, in your headlines, in your job, in your love life, in your whatever. Just, you know, you want to have a little bit of mystery behind what you're doing, because people like that kind of stuff. But hey, if you don't want to get anybody's attention, then, you know, don't do anything that's curiosity driven, I guess. Just be boring, right? Alright, anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again. Peace. turtle-cast.com. turtle-cast.com.